Hello everybody out there in Flosstube world. This is Vicki, aka the Virginia Stitcher, coming to you with my next video, the latest video. Today is November 23rd. It's 2 days before American Thanksgiving. It is Tuesday before the Thanksgiving here. And so we'll be gearing up in our household. I just want to welcome everybody who's tuning in. Thank you to my new subscribers, and thank you for those that come back again and again. I appreciate all of you. I appreciate all of the comments I get on my videos. They make me smile. They make my day. I love interacting with you guys. I like hearing what you're working on, what you've enjoyed from my videos, so that I know you know, maybe have more of an idea of what you guys like, even though I do stitch what I like. So I hope what I like is what you guys like. Also, I wanted to let you know that I did, in some of my comments, I did have some questions that I am going to try to answer today to the best of my ability. So I'll intersperse those in as I'm showing things, because I'll be able to do it while I'm showing some of my whips. So also I got some notes down here, because if I don't, I'm all over the place and I forget to do things. I watch Flosstube. I sit in my craft room during the day, sometimes you know, when I'm by myself, and I can shoot Flosstube up on the TV in my craft room, and I'll do that. I'll sit in my chair. I've got my really good daylight, and I get comfy and I turn on Flosstube, have my cup of coffee, and I stitch. So I do watch Flosstube while I'm stitching. So I just wanted to, you know, sometimes I like to try to shout out some people that are new to Flosstube that maybe some of you haven't found. And I want to shout this young lady out because she's a younger stitcher. I would guess her to be in her 20s. Her name is Natalie, and she has a channel that I have been enjoying. Her channel name is Our Daily Stitches. So it is Our Daily Stitches, and her name is Natalie. She has some beautiful stitching. She's really, for a young lady, she's a prolific stitcher. So if you haven't checked her channel out, she only has 4 videos up so far, but I have watched all 4 of hers, and I love all of the beautiful stitching that she does. So if you are looking for a new Flosstuber to check out and you haven't seen hers yet, maybe you want to check her out. I like to support, I love seeing all generations doing cross stitching. I would love to see from 8 to 80, that, you know, and beyond. And, you know, so I believe it's something that everybody can learn how to do and enjoy. So that is my welcome to you guys. So the next thing I want to do always is, of course, get into my whips, what I have been working on for the last 2 weeks since my last video. The first piece that I'm going to show you is, I consider this a winter piece, and it is, let me get this pattern out here for you guys. This one is by Little House Needleworks, and it's called Lantern Lane. And I had shown this one in my Winter Wonderland Extravaganza. This piece, I didn't work anymore since that video. So if you watch that video, you're not going to see any more progress on this one yet. What I had worked on the week before was this here, this gated wall. There's another section of it on the other side that I still need to do. And I had told you before that I frogged out, I had been doing the DMC 844, a gray color, like this up here where the lantern is. And I had done that here, and I thought it looked so faded out that I decided I'd rather do DMC 310 black. So I went ahead and frogged it out, and I restitched that iron work there. So I do still need to frog out the lamppost and do it in black. But I wanted to discuss a little bit on this, this piece. If you notice in the house, the red it looks like what I did was I took 2 different colors that I had because I wanted some variegation in the house. So I did 2 rows in a darker red, 2 rows in a lighter red, and so on. And I repeated that pattern to kind of get a look of wooden paneling on the front of the house. And also I had taken, I didn't have the called for green DMC that they had in the chart. So I took, I mean, not DMC, but overdyed threads. I think I'll have to look at the pattern. It was calling for weathered vine. Oh no, I'm sorry. That's the Belsois color. It was calling for a classic Colorworks pea pod, which is this color up here, I believe. Let me pull out my colors. But it didn't have a lot of variegation like it shows in the picture. If you guys can see that, see the variegation in that tree and see the variegation in the house. That's some of the stuff that I loved about this picture. So I wanted to get some variegation. So I took 2 different DMC colors and then I just kind of interspersed the 2 colors. I just kind of randomly moved them around so that I could kind of get that look. And like I said, I used 2 different reds in the house. So my colors that I had picked for my DMCs see, I had the pea pod and I am doing the holly leaves in it, but there's not really any variegation in my pea pod that's by Classic Colorworks. So I picked 2 DMCs instead, these 2 right here. So I picked 3052 and 3051 DMC so that I could get the variegation going in the tree. So those are the 2 colors I used there. And then for the house, I did pick up, let me see what the called for was. Lancaster Red by Weeks Dye Works, which is this color, which I only have a little bit left after finishing the house. But it's the Lancaster Red. And then I went ahead and also, part of the reason I also did this was I felt like, oh, I might not have enough of Lancaster Red to fill in that whole house with one 5-yard skein of it. So I added in DMC 355. So when I put those 2 colors together, I got a lighter and a darker look to my house. Just slightly different, just to give a little depth to my house. And that's how I picked those colors. And then I had picked 844, like I said, for the lamppost. It had called for Black Coffee by Classic Colorworks. And I don't know if Black Coffee, I know last winter, it was hard to find. You couldn't find it anywhere. I looked on all the sites and I couldn't find it. So I had switched in 844, which is a really dark kind of gray, dark gray color. But then I decided I wanted black instead. So I pulled out my DMC 310 just to make it a darker color instead. So that's kind of one of the questions that I had, and I'm going to go elaborate a little bit more again, is how I select my colors when I do my own color conversions, because I do that quite a bit because I like to work from a stash that I have. And because of I know at least in the last couple of years, a lot of times it's hard to find some of the overdyed thread colors that are called for. Like I said, the Black Coffee, and another one was Hickory Sticks. It's very hard to find, or at least it used to be. It was like you couldn't find it anywhere. I don't know if there was some popular patterns out that were using them and everybody had bought them all up and no more supply was coming in. So that's why I started learning how to try to select my own colors. So that's Lantern Lane, and that one is stitched two threads over on 16 count Aida, and this color is lamb's wool 16 count Aida, and I used 2 threads, of course, over one stitch, one 16 count stitch. And I still have my little, I was doing the snow, so I still have a little thread over here. But that is my Lantern Lane by Little House Needleworks. And let me put everything back. So that is the first whip that I was working on these last couple of weeks. And then, throw all this in here. The next whip that I have, throw these down to the side, is, what is this one? Oh, this is another one I had showed in my Winter Wonderland Extravaganza, but I did do a little bit more work on it since I showed it to you. And this is by Heartstring Samplery, and it's called Baby, It's Cold Outside. And I had picked a darker piece of fabric than this. My fabric is 16 count Aida in the color Spice. Take that out. And so here again, because my color was darker, I needed to pick some different thread colors. So this is my piece so far. So I was able to come in and finish that house. I also did the snow that's underneath the house and extended this a little bit more, I believe. And I started the wording. So I have the word look. But I love how this piece is coming out. This is another one. Like I said, this is a little bit darker fabric than the called for. And because I wanted to make sure that this green color really showed up, and I wanted my red house to pop off of this dark color that I picked some different floss colors for this one than the called for. And it doesn't have a lot of colors. So what I picked for my letters, the words in the piece is, this one is by Victorian Motto, and this one's called Prim Maple Leaves. Has just a slight variegation in it. See how it goes from this kind of yellow to this more orangey gold color. The golds kind of change. And then I had picked, this is Grits for the white, for the snow, by Weeks Dye Works. And then I have two other Victorian mottos. This is Minted Nog. Like I said, I wanted a lighter green for this one. And Don Juan is a Victorian motto color that's the red color. And that's a really bright red. So that these colors, I wanted them to pop off of the darker fabric that I have. So again, I'm using 2 strands of thread, and this is on a 16 count Aida in the color Spice. And it is by Heartstring Samplery, and it's called Baby, It's Cold Outside. So that is whip number 2. And yet I was reading the back of her chart, and she was giving some how to stain, staining instructions if you wanted to stain your piece, and some suggestions on finishing it. And one of her suggestions, if you didn't want to frame it, was a pillow. And I thought, oh, I didn't even think about that. I think what I want to do for this piece, it's going to be about, I think it just comes over just a little bit farther. But you can see that the height of it, I've already got in. And I was thinking, I think I'm going to make a small throw pillow. I think what I'm going to do is make it kind of like this is a center panel of sort of a quilt look, but not really quilt. Put an edge of fabric all the way around it and make it a throw pillow to probably go on my bed in the wintertime. Like that Baby, It's Cold Outside, and then you snuggle up under the covers on your bed. I think that's going to look cute. So I thought that's a good idea for that one, because I know I don't want to hang everything on my walls. I think I'd run out of wall space. So I think that will be a real cute idea for that one to be a nice winter pillow, throw pillow. My next whip is my map of Hawk Run Hollow. I was working on this a couple of weeks ago, right after my last video. Let me see if I can get it out of its little project bag. And it looks like this. It's by Carriage House Samplings. And I had previously finished this part of the hawk. I had tree stumps in, a little bit of this border up here. and I think a little bit of this banner, a little bit of that. And that's all I had before. And I picked it up and I worked a little bit more, I think a couple of days on it, and was able to get a little bit farther. Let me see if I can tell you what fabric this is. This is 16 count Heartland by Picture This Plus. And I'm also, it's in a mix of called for and my picks of DMC. I had told you that I was standing there in Joann's getting my flosses and the DMCs, and I decided I want a couple of the colors a little bit different. But that's how far I was able to get on this one so far. So I did come in and finish. I put all the green for the trees. I had the tree stumps, but not the green. Did a little bit more of this banner. I think I only had it done to about here. So I didn't finish it, but got a little bit more on that. And I started the river that's running through here. There is, I think, a house, a little building here that blocks the water view, and a bird. But I was able to get that much done on my map of Hawk Run Hollow. Like I said, this is 16 count Ada in the color Heartland. I wanted something that, my reasoning for picking this color, I wanted something that looked a little bit like an aged map, but I didn't want it too grungy. So I picked this because it had, it was a little off-white, off cream with some mottling in it. And I thought that looked a little bit like a map to me. So, and then the colors that I had switched out were the blue for the water, because the blue is a really, really light color and I wanted the darker blue. And I had switched in some different greens in DMCs for that one, because I wanted the greens to look a little bit different in color. One of them is the called for, and I think it's this lighter color. But then I switched these other two, because when I pulled them initially, they were so close in color that you couldn't see really any difference. So I wanted them to look different than all look the same color green. So that one is that whip. Let me throw this in here. My next whip is back to Christmas again, Christmas winter. And this one is in this book, Home for the Holidays by Blackbird Designs. And it has several projects in it, but I am doing the Christmas garden right now. This is the first piece I've picked out of this book to do. And it looks like this. I'm sure a lot of you have seen this. A lot of people have done this one. And I had, of course, started up here in the upper left-hand corner like I do a lot of times. And I had already had this this bowl done, this motif, that motif, and that one, and a little bit of the border. Oh, and the reindeer. I had him done. But I came in and I was able to do the border farther over, this farther over, work on this basket, and start some of this greenery in here. So I did pick this one up and work on it 2 or 3 days. And this one is being done on a 16 count Ada in the color Heritage by Picture This Plus. Let me get this out for you guys. Heritage has a little bit of a green hue to it, and that's why I picked that one to go with the greens and reds for Christmas. So like I said, I was able to come in and I think I only had the border to about here. So I did the border a little farther over as far as my QSnap would let me. And actually, I think this is the corner where it starts to go down. So that's the width of this piece. And then I extended this this border, or whatever you call it. And then I was working in here on the basket. And this is only using 4 colors of thread. And their colors, I had somebody asking me in my comments what my colors were if I was using the called for colors for this pattern. And I said no. I texted her back and I messaged her back and I said, no, I wasn't. that I had picked colors, my own choice, because I didn't have the called fors, I don't believe. Yeah, I didn't, the only one nope, I didn't have any of the called fors. They called for Calico Kitty for the red color. And I had this Cherry Cobbler by Classic Colorworks. So I pulled that as my red. And then for the green, which is Endive by Gentle Arts, I didn't have that one. So I had pulled this bronze green from Victorian Motto as my green. And then for my Fool's Gold and my Heirloom Gold, which were the kind of the two gold brown colors, I picked Autumn, what is this one? Autumn Weave by Victorian Motto, and this one, Homestead by Victorian Motto. So these are my color choices for this piece. And so I'm not doing the called fors. And then I had received this as a little gift from Keepsakes when I went to StitchCon back in June. And it only has 4 holes, but I thought how perfect to put any threads that I haven't finished using yet, because there's only 4 colors, and then that way I can keep those straight. And I'll use these first when I want to pull that color up. So this is my Christmas Garden by Blackbird Designs, and I'm really enjoying this piece. It's really pretty, and like I said, it only has 4 colors. And it was initially released on its own and then went out of print, but they brought it back in this book. So if you are interested in this pattern at all, I would suggest picking up this book, because once this book goes out of print, I don't know if they'll bring it back another time. So, who knows? You can't guarantee they won't, but if you really like it, I would say, and you don't have it, to get it. As Brenda and Laura, the serial starters, say, buy all the Blackbirds. So that is that whip. And then I had 2 new starts. Yes, I did. Yes, I did. This came in this week. I think it came in probably about 5 days ago. And as soon as it came in, I had to pull colors for it and a piece of fabric. Well, the fabric came in that day too, in a order that I had placed with, I think, 1, 2, 3 stitch, and I had to start it. I just pulled my own threads and I had to start it. So this one is Nottingham by Kathy Barrick. And this is one of her newest releases that just came out. And there were 2 at the, I don't know what they call it, Nashville Market or whatever it's called, or Expo, I can't remember. But the newest releases that came out, 2 that I really, really loved. One was Nottingham by Kathy Barrick, and the other one was the Moonlight Sampler by the Blue Flower. So now I have both of the ones that I really, really wanted out of those new releases. I love the colors in this. I love the big birds. There's something about this one that really drew me in. And I didn't have the called fors. These call for either, well, they call for either DMC or NPI or Gloriana silks. So what I did was I just went in my stash and I picked the colors that I wanted, but let me show you how far I was able to get on this one first. This one's still in my QSnap because I was hoping to get this bird finished and I didn't, but that's how far I was able to get in this one. And the QSnap is pulling my fabric a little bit this way, so it looks crooked, but it's not. It's really not. This color right here is Classic Colorworks. I believe it's Classic Colorworks. Let me look. Is that a Classic Colorworks piece? No, it's Gentle Arts Peacock. And I had that in my stash. And I thought, I think I'm going to use that one for the bird. And I picked out a lot of these colors. I think all of them are my called for. Not the called for. Ones I picked out. And then this fabric is 16 count earthen by Picture This Plus. So I picked this fabric because it's a brown that has a little bit of a pink hue to it. So it's a pinky brown color, and it's called Earthen by Picture This Plus. And like I said, this one's a 16 count. I do use two threads when I work on 16 count. Always. I don't think I've ever, nope, never used just one strand on 16 count. I like the coverage that I get with the two strands on 16 count. So the bird still needs his head done in here, but I got quite a bit. He's quite a large bird, and I got quite a bit done on him. And these are all of the colors that I selected for this piece over the called for. And I can explain a little bit more. Here's the color that was for the leaves. And this is lettuce leaf. I liked it because it called for the description for the MPI and Glorianas was mint green. And that looked a lot like a mint green to me. And that is part of my process for picking my flosses when I do change my colors. I like to stick, most of the time I stick too close to what they're calling for. For most of my stuff. If the bird is blue, I still pick a blue color usually. And when I do, what I've done, like with this one, is what I usually do is I look, and like I said, that one said that the color was mint green. This color is a mauve. This color is a deerskin or a doeskin brown. I then will go to my greens or my browns and pick a color and see if I have something that looks like it would kind of go with that. So how I store let me see if I can reach over here and get it. How I store my over-dyed flosses, my fancy flosses. I have a rod I have a small walk-in closet in my craft room, and I have just a really cheap curtain rod that's not real big. It's only maybe about that big around. I don't have a big bulky one like I have up on my curtains up here. It's just a skinny one, a little one. And it's probably about 3 feet long. And it is mounted to the wall, one of the walls in my closet to the side, kind of behind the door. And then I put my floss colors by brand and then by color. These are my green Victorian mottos. All my kind of green colors I have right now not being used. These are all my classic colorworks. I have a couple of Gentle Arts, just a couple left that I haven't used yet, and some Weeks Dye Works. So when a color is called for on here, like the mint green, or I'll look and I'll say, okay, I need a mint green and I need a vintage teal, and that was for the bird. And that's where I picked the peacock because it looked like a teal color to me. Where is his color? Where did it go? So that looks like a teal. This looks like a mint green. And I do that process. I pick colors that I like, that I think look like the description. I also then will see if they play nice together. So all of my greens, do they play nice together? Do they look decent together? And then overall, do all of the colors, look nice together? I had one color that I was kind of iffy about, and I had to decide if I really liked it or not. And it was this color here, this Victorian motto, Victorian gold. I didn't know if it was going to clash or not, but it doesn't. It looks nice. That's the color that is here in the border here. So that is this color, and the A and the B are done in that color so far. So I put it on there, and I'm liking how all the colors are playing together. every now and then I pick a color and I start stitching with it and I decide I really don't like it. And then I frog it out and I start with something else. So I do that process. And then another part that I have to do when I'm going through it, not only look at the description of the color on the back, and then go through, like if it's a green color, and look at all the greens that I have in my stash, but I also will look on the chart at the symbol. And then I'll, like for the mint green, I'll go, okay, it's everywhere the heart symbol is. And then I pull my pattern out and I look at my pattern, and I'll decide, okay, it was for where all the leaves are and a couple other places in here and for some of the letters. You know, that way I know, like the doe skin brown, where is it used? Well, it's used on his tunic, his top. It's also put in her skirt. But the other color that's put in her skirt is the turquoise color, the color that I picked for the bird. So, you know, do those two colors, well, I like that for her skirt. Does that look good? You know, and so I have to look at, let's see, which one did I pick for the doe skin brown? Because, no, not this one. This one. Let me see if I can get it by itself. You know, would these look nice together? No, not you. Go away. You know, in her skirt. And I decided they would. I decided I'll like that as her skirt color. So that's how I pick my colors. I look at the chart. I look at their description. Then I go to my stash and I see what I have. If I don't have anything that will work, say if on all these greens, I thought, you know, I really don't, you know, like out of what's left, there's not a lot of teal. I have one teal left. But if I didn't like that color for some reason, or I didn't have something else that would look nice with it, I then would just go and order the called for and wait. But 9 times out of 10, I can go through my stash and figure out a color that I would like to use. So I hope that explains my process. It takes a little while. It's not something where I just go boop, 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 and I have my colors and I'm done. It is something that, like I said, I take them, I pull the colors, I see where they are on the chart, and I try to decide, you know, will I like that color used in that spot for that particular element of the picture, of the pattern, and then will they all play nice together once I have them selected. And then for another thing that I usually will do for whites and black, normally, like if they are calling for something like black coffee, or white, like a grits, oatmeal, and an overdyed, most of the time I have a couple in my stash, but I have learned that the whites and the black, the really dark colors, a lot of times you can't tell, especially with the white, I know for sure. I don't really see that much of a variegation in all the ones that I have. So I don't see the reason to have the added expense of buying an overdyed when I can just use DMC white. And this one is just blanc. This is just the DMC white that I'm using in this one. And that is in the bird. So far I've used it in the bird's breast and the white dots that are through his body. And I just, you know, do that. And then a way I pick my fabric, like this one, I knew I wanted a pink hued, I knew this pink hued brown color, this earthen, would look good for these pieces because of all of the cool colors that are in there, the turquoises, the mint greens, the pinks and things like that. I knew that they would look really pretty on this, this color fabric. Another way that I choose my fabric is when I do have white in my piece. I don't choose a white or a really close to white colored fabric. I want something that has enough color in it that my whites will pop. I don't want to stitch white and you can't see it unless the white is all encapsulated. If it's in the middle, like right now, my white, it's just in the bird's breast. And you can see that there is some of the teal blue going around here. Well, it encapsulates the white, so that wouldn't be as big a deal. But I did know I didn't want it in just an off-white because the two people here, it looks like their skin is in white. And I didn't want them to be on white fabric and you couldn't see their little heads, and it just looked like bodies with no heads. So that's why I picked up an off color, something that had some color to it also. But I wanted a tone to stay in the cool tones to go with the cool tone colors that I had selected for this piece. So that is that one. And that is my process for picking my overdyes. And then if it calls for DMCs and I want to see if I have the DMCs, I'm going to go ahead and use DMCs. I have my DMCs stored, the ones that I have. I had showed this before. This is actually a photo container. It has, I think, 16 separate containers inside of it. I got this in clearance, I think, in Hobby Lobby about a year ago, 9, 10 months ago. But I divide up my flosses in these. These are all my whites, the B5200s, the Blanc, the Ecru, are all in this one container. So if I'm working on a piece and I need a white color, I know I can just pull out this and, you know, grab a skein. If I'm working on a piece that has a lot of white in it and I've used up my skein, I can look and see. I like to keep extras of these, of white and black, the 310. And then the low numbers, you know, DMC has numbers that number from 1 to 100 and something. If it's lower than 200, they go in this next box. This color that I have here is number 22. So if I have a chart that's calling for DMC number 22, I can pull it out of this container, and I have it. And I will make a copy of the chart, and then I will go through all of my DMCs and I will pull out the ones I have and I'll check them off. And then I know which ones I need to go shopping for. These are all the 300s. So in here are my 310s, but also I have 319 and, you know, other 300 colors with it. So if a piece is calling for a 319, I have a 319. I take it out, I set it aside. So this is how I store my skeins and my floss dropped DMCs that aren't in with a chart. And I have also, the only way I used to work with my threads, and I used to only work with DMC, was bobbinating them. So, and I do still sometimes bobbinate. So I have 3 boxes with my bobbinated extra DMCs. And these are the ones that would be from 0 to 700, basically, to $6.99. So if I'm looking for $3.19 and I didn't have it in the other box, I can look in here. And if I don't have it in here, then I don't have it unless and I probably have it in a kitted project, but I'm not going to pull it out of a project because I like to keep my things fully kitted if I can. So I have 3 boxes, and then this is box number 2, which is 700 and 999. So I know this goes up to the 3-digit numbers. And then all of the 4-digit numbers, the 3,000 numbers, are in box number 3. And that way I can find what I need, you know, quickly, or see if I even have it in my stash. And then when I'm going through and I'm trying to select my fabrics, I have a little bit of a fabric stash, and I tried to do that so that I can have some options. But say if I wanted a piece, I knew I wanted to work with something that was kind of like a blue, purple, gray, you know, something cool toned. I can pull out, you know, different fabrics that I have, and I do what I call a floss toss. And a lot of people probably know what that means. Like say if I have a selection here, and I just pulled these out of my stash. So I have a purple. This one is, they're all by Picture This Plus, and this one is, I don't know what this one is called. Usually they're on the thing. Of course, I don't have my, oh, Whimsy. That's because it goes, the WHI is up here, and then MSEY are down here, so I didn't see the word. So Whimsy is a purple mottled. Then this one is kind of more of a bluey purple, and this one is the color J, and that I'm using for my Halloween at Hawk Run Hollow, that color piece there. And then I have, I believe this is Mirage. Yes, Mirage, which is a grayish blue. We have a purpley blue, a purple, a grayish blue, and then a greenish blue. And this one is Storm. So, you know, I could go, well, no, I think I prefer the grayish blue. And then I could, you know, do a floss toss and decide, I don't know if those colors really go nice. But I will lay them up against my piece of fabric once I select my colors, or I get the called for colors for a piece. And now I'm trying to find a piece of fabric. And say the piece called for just an off-white. And I thought, no, I really would like to have it on a blue. And so I go through whatever I have and I try to find a piece that might work, you know, for my fabrics. Sometimes I can't. Sometimes I don't have something that will work in my stash, you know. But I'll hold it up against my fabric. I'll lay it on there and decide if, you know, I like it. Like say if it was just a piece that just had, maybe it was just going to be a one color piece and it just was gold. Well, isn't that pretty? Wouldn't that be pretty on this kind of purpley blue color? But then it also could go on this purple color. So I would have to decide which one I preferred. You know, would I like it more on this purple or more on a blue? Because it could go with either. So, and that's how I also pick out my fabrics. Also by the size. Sometimes if I have this, say I decide I like this color J, and I have a 17 by 25 inch piece. I have a fat quarter. I think that's a fat quarter. But I needed something that's going to be bigger than this. Maybe I needed a 23 by 28 inch piece of fabric. Then I'm going to have to go buy a fat half. And like say I really love this and this is really the piece that I wanted to do it on. Then I would have to go buy another piece of fabric because I wouldn't have the size, you know. But most of the time I buy fat halves because most of my projects will fit on something that fits on the 17 by 25 or 18 by 27 or whatever sizes they come in. So that is my crazy random thinking there, and I hope I made a little bit of sense. Let me set all that aside. So that's to answer those questions that those commenters had on how I select my fabrics and how I select my flosses. Another question, excuse me I'm gonna go out of frame for a second here, I'm gonna reach down. Another question that I had was, how do I tuck all my extra fabric away? How do I get it out of my way? I had a commenter that noticed that, you know, when my pieces are in the frame, like my Nottingham here, oh, I just threw it on the floor. I have it in a QSnap, but the piece of fabric is not just this big. I have it all wedged up in here in my grime guard. So how I do that, and I am a, some people sew in hand. I'm gonna stand up. The easiest way to get these on and off is to slide them. Slide the clamps. You can pull them, but it's easier, a lot of times it's easier just to slide them off. But this is an 11 by 11 QSnap, and this is what I had. I was just working on this morning, my Christmas garden piece. So I'm working right in here. So I want to center this in my 11 by 11 QSnap, but I actually have a much larger piece of fabric than my 11 by 11 QSnap. So I will take it and I will lay it on my QSnap, and I will center it, you know, try to get the area centered as well as I can in my QSnap of where I want to work. Okay, so that's pretty centered. I'm going to have I usually lay this down to do this. So I'm going to put my my top piece in there. Now I have all of this extra material, and what I do is I just usually, I don't put more than 2 doubled over fabric in here. I don't triple and quadruple it because you can crack your clamp. But I lay it just over the edge of my QSnap, and I snap that in. So now at least, now I only have this much extra. Instead of this much extra, I now only have this much extra. And then I will do the same over here for the sides. And you always want to go opposite sides when you're snapping it into a QSnap. So I'm going to double that up. Another good thing to do when you're going to be putting a QSnap over your stitches is to have a piece of fabric over it. If you don't have fabric to at least put over it, or you can put the fabric and also have a piece of felt. I have strips of felt that I can use to put under my QSnap clamps when I'm clamping on top of stitches, so that I don't have the clamp directly on my stitches. And I haven't noticed it causing any kind of issue with my piece. Now, same thing with this corner. I have some extra. So I'm going to, you know, fold it over, double it over the QSnap edge right here. Some of you I know this already, but I want to help those who might need some help with this. Okay, now to tighten it, you pull these this way and pull these this way. And now I have a nice drum tight snap. This, you know, if you feel like your fabric is going to get in your way because you're going to be stitching right up in here, don't have it folded over that far. But I'm done with the stitching here. I'm not going to mess with that. So I still have this fabric, you know, sitting out in my way. So this is where, if I really want to tuck in, if I have a lot of fabric and I want to tuck it all in, I use a grime guard. And this one I actually just got in from GaRon Toten bags. And this is an 11 by 11 grime guard. So it's just an elastic sleeve to go around your piece, and it helps keep your, if you're, you know, when you're holding your QSnap and you're doing that for several hundreds of hours while you're stitching on your piece, you might not want, you know, dirt or oils from your hands to get on your piece. It's good to use these. But also the second purpose of these is to be able to tuck your fabric in. So you got all this extra fabric here. This is the back. Nope, that's the front of my piece. Is that the front? Yes. Usually I tuck it to the back. Let me see. This is going to be more difficult because I'm trying to do this standing up and showing. So what I usually do, let me see if I can do this real quick, is kind of roll the fabric up. See how it's, let me see if I can get that in the screen. I've rolled it up and I'm on the back side of my piece now. I want it out of my way, and now I can now tuck this in here in my grime guard so that I have it out of my way when I'm stitching. That's why when you see some of my pieces, if it's a stiffer Aida, it looks pretty wrinkled. This isn't a stiff piece of Aida. This is a picture of this plus an overdyed Aida. So it is softer and doesn't have as many wrinkles usually in it. So now that's all tucked in there. And this will be my stitching area. And I can even take and tuck this in, you know, tuck that up in there, get that out of my way, tuck the corners in a little bit, and I have a nicely neat, all tucked in fabric that will be all out of my way while I'm stitching the piece, and I don't have to worry about fabric hanging in my way. And that's how I do it. So now this piece is all ready to start stitching again on it. So that is my process for tucking all that, because I do work on fairly large pieces, and that's something that I have to do to just get it out of my way. The last whip that I have is also a new start, and it is, let me see if I can get it, let me see if it won't glare too bad. This one is by the sampler company, Brenda Keys, and this one's called the Plymouth Sampler. And I'm gonna go ahead and take it out of here because it's in plastic too. And then it's in the vinyl bag. You may actually blare more with just the plain plastic, I don't know. There we go. Plymouth Sampler by Brenda Keys. And I ordered this one off of Etsy. It's the only place I've been able to find her so far. The couple that I have. And I'm using the called for DMCs. And for this project, I've used the floss away bags. So they're on a ring, and then I have them numbered, and then I have them in numerical order on my ring so that I can find them pretty easy. And this piece of fabric, let's see what fabric I'm using. This one is 16 count Aida in the color Natural Light. And this one is a stiffer Aida. And that is my progress so far. I did an upper left-hand start. So this one has a border though. I worked on it for the last couple of days. It has a triple border going around here. So that's 3 times, you know, so. And then this is solidly going to be filled in. The ABC at the top and the bottom are solid filled in stitches. And so is this. This is all solidly filled in with like a really light color, which I think is going to show up better on my darker fabric than the white kind of fabric they have here. I actually picked up one that has a little bit more of a tan tone to it, so that when I start filling this in with the white color, the cream color, let me pull it out of the bag. It should pop off of the, get it out of its little, you should be able to see that color better and notice that this is all filled in when I, you know, get to filling in that section there, because my piece is kind of like a grayish tan color. And like I said, this one is called Natural Light. Yeah, Natural Light Aida. And this is pretty much true to color right here. Here's my white. You'll be able to see the difference between white and that color. There. So this is how far I was able to get on this one. And yes, I'm crazy. I started 2 more things. When I was pulling these both up to start, I was like, Vicki, do you really need to start them? And I said, yeah, I do. So I thought, why not? Why not? You have it. All I had to do was, I think I had some of these DMCs and I had to go buy about 5 of them. I had the piece of fabric. I had the pattern. So I decided, why not? Why not start it? And so that's what I did. And one of the things that Brenda does, Brenda Keys, she gives you some extra little things with your pattern. You get a thing that you can say, you know, put on it who it was stitched by, and you know, when you finished it and things like that. And it gives you, you know, she just gives you a few little fun things. This one actually is a floss drop card. It's just a piece of paper though with some punched holes. And I just decided I was just going to, you know, go ahead and use this. But you could use her thing that she provides in with the pattern. So that is my Plymouth Sampler by the Sampler Company and Brenda Keys. I'm just going to kind of stick it in there. Stick all this together. Keep it together. And another one where all the extra fabric is all tucked in there, all tucked around my edges. I have it doubled over and rolled in. I am on the edge here because I do a left-hand start, so I am pretty close, but I have extra fabric hanging down here and over here. So that is that piece. So that finishes my whips. The next thing that I wanted to go over was my haul. I did tell you I did get the Kathy Barrick pattern and the Plymouth Sampler in just this week. But I also got let me bring it over closer. Got a little bit of haul here. I placed 2 orders with Geron Stitchery this week. They also go by Geron toten bags, and this is their shop. It's run by Gary and Ronnie. Ronnie makes the bags, and they also have project bags, they have patterns, they have floss, they have fabric. So and everything that they have listed online, they have in stock. And then 9 times out of 10, probably 99 times out of 100 at least, they will ship it the same day. And so you get your things that you order, you'll get them within a few days, depending on the postal service. They have no control over the postal service, but I'll order it, say, on a Monday, and I'll have it by Wednesday or Thursday. They live in Florida, and I live in Virginia. So, however long it takes the postal service to get that sent to you, they will get it to you. And I just ordered this stuff Friday, and I just got it in the mail today, just about an hour before I started filming this on Tuesday. But I saw where they had the Winter White Santa by Mirabilia. And like I tell you, if you like any of the Mirabilias, don't sit on it too long because they will go out of print. So I know this one has been out a little while, and I thought, you know what, I don't want to miss out on this one. Let me get it. And when I get these, I usually try to get all the beads and things that come with it. So I ordered this from Geron Stitchery, and I got the bead pack to go with it. So it has all of the beads, even all the specialty beads and everything, all packed up for you, all in a kit. So I got those, and I also, they do carry the Krynics. So I picked up 2 of the Krynic colors that I need for my Winter White Santa. So I picked up those pieces, and while I was there at their shop, my Kathy Barrick piece, I needed a little bit more of my floss colors, my overdyes. So I picked those up, and this is how they came packaged. So you see my turquoise, my mint green, my lettuce leaf by Classic Colorworks. All the colors for that I needed some more of. I was afraid I would run out of the peacock because I've already, just in that one bird alone, have almost used a whole skein. And I thought, let me get another one because I have 2 skeins and I think I'm going to need a 3rd. And with overdyes, I try to order them soon because the dye lots can change drastically on overdyed threads. So I wanted to go ahead and make sure, because if it takes me 3 years to finish that piece, I want to make sure I have threads that match. I don't want 3 years from now to go, oh no, I need another peacock by Gentle Arts, and find out that when I get it in, it looks more green than blue or something. Right now it looks like this. I'm not going to take it out of the bag. They packaged it so pretty. But that I ordered those, and then they have fabric, and they carry linens, and I think they carry some even weaves, and they carry Aida. And this one is a 16 count Aida in the color Heather, and it's a purpley color. Let me go ahead and take it out of the bag so I don't make too much crinkling noise. This is a 18 by 28 inch piece. And they carry, I think they carry Seraphim, and this one is Fiber on a Whim. This one is Fiber on a Whim Heather, 16 count Aida. And this color is a purpley color, and I only have that one other purple color, so I wanted to get some more purple choices in my stash. So that's what this color looks like against white. You can see how purple that is and how it's modeled. And like I said, this is by Fiber on a Whim. Isn't that pretty? Look at that. It's gorgeous. So I ordered that while I ordered the Santa Claus, the Winter White Santa by Mirabilia. So they do carry, fabrics, flosses, patterns. And then my other order from them that I placed was for a couple of their project bags. And these are the large project bags. They have been doing the state bags, and I have been waiting for Virginia. And they have the Virginia bags. And sometimes I like the large bags. Let's see, where's one of my other bags? Oop, I'm losing all the stuff in it. Let me zip it up. This one is like a standard size vinyl fronted bag that holds your fabric. This one is by Lake House Stitch Company on Etsy. But their bags are a little bit bigger. They're large bags. So if you have large projects, these come in handy. Or if you want to put multiple. In one of my large GaRon Toten bags that I have all 4 of the Rosewood Manor Quakers. They're seasonal Quakers. They're winter, they're spring, they're summer, and they're autumn Quakers. And I have them all in one of these. So, and then they always do a coordinating. It has a Velcro closure, and then they do a coordinating fabric on the inside. So I had to get Virginia. And since, like I said, I like to have a few of these bigger bags, and I love coffee. I got the cappuccino bag that they have. And the inside coordinating is coffee beans, little coffee beans. Isn't that cute? And this is the large also. I have, well, it's just over on the other side of the desk. I have the regular size ones that I've shown before, but these are the large. And I think the large is only, I think it was only 25, and the regular size is 20, something like that. So they're very reasonably priced. And then I placed, when I got my other pattern from 123 Stitch, I also purchased, because I'm like, I don't have enough, but I want to get all the ones that I love, because this one's been out for a little while. And this is by Plum Street Samplers. And this one's called the Gather In. And I didn't want to miss out on this one, so I wanted to go ahead and get it in. And I went ahead and also purchased the flosses for it. So I had the DMCs, and I have all the Weeks Dye Works, all the called for. So this one will be done with the called fors, because I was able to get the called fors for this one. And so this one's partially kitted and will be added to my fall projects, but I don't have a piece of fabric selected for it yet. But that is that piece. And then the other thing that I put in that order was Honeysuckle Manor by Blackbird Designs. These books are usually pieces that, the pieces in them are ones that had already been out before. And they put them in when they decide if they're going to reproduce it again, you know, put it back out there, a lot of times they'll put it in these books. And so these are a couple of their samplers that they have. This one is Hannah Lavina Jocelyn, 1856. So this is a reproduction. And then there was another sampler in here that I really, really liked. This is Margaret Harris, 1877. So this does have 2 samplers in it, and it has a bunch of smalls to do. It has, I don't want to show the patterns, so I'm trying to, it has this topper, but you can also just, you could do it as a small framed piece if you wanted to, or a pillow. It has several. Some of theirs will have stockings in them, like the Christmas one I have for the Christmas garden. Has this piece in it, a Stitcher's Companion. So it's got that. It's got several in here. So they're a good value if you, are interested in stitching a lot of Blackbird's pieces. I have that. It's called a honeysuckle pin box. And they also have a couple of smaller pieces here to go with it. And what else is in this book? All kinds of stuff. It's just showing that up close. And it also has this pin cushion. So if you like those kind of things, like I said, this one is Honeysuckle Manor by Blackbird Designs. Okay, and my other stash was, I ordered from Sassy Jacks. I found out, and they may still have them on sale, they have some of Hands Across the Seas reproduction samplers around 50% off. And so I picked up a couple, and they came in this week. If you order from Sassy Jacks, they do have a disclaimer on their website that says, you know, due to COVID and their staffing, they're a little lower staffed right now or whatever. So it takes a little while to get your pieces in. So if you're not in a hurry, I try to also support the brick and mortar stores. So if you're not in a big hurry and you want to get some reproduction samplers from Hands Across the Sea at a sale, check out Sassy Jacks online. But I ordered this one, Sarah Brazier, 1829. And she's a big girl. And I'm wanting to start her next year. She was the Queen of the May for 2018. So in Nicola Parkman's books, she also puts a lot of research in. There'll be pages of telling you about the lady who stitched this piece and things like that. So what I did for this one, at first I thought, oh, you know, it's my first reproduction samplers. I think I'm going to stitch them in the silks, the called for silks. These Hands Across the Sea come with a card that has the all of the threads that are in the piece, and it'll also go over some of the stitching. This does have satin stitches and eyelet stitches in it. So these two reproduction samplers I'm going to show you do have specialty stitches in them. This one has a lot of satin stitches. I was looking at this, studying it closer once I got it in. All of this border and this border, the inner border and the outer border, are satin stitched. And then there's even satin stitching inside of here. Just to let you know, there is satin stitches. So I am going to be stitching this one, and there is a little bit of 1/1 on this one, the words. And I think there's a couple of little things in here that might be 1/1. So I am going to be doing this one on an even weave. But I was looking at it, and it calls for soitage, and also it has a DMC conversion. And when I calculated how much it would cost me to do this piece in soitage, it's going to take quite a bit of floss, because this piece, say if I want to do it on a 32 count, which is equivalent to 16 count Aida, this will measure around 36 by 37 inches. This is going to be a big piece. So it's going to take a lot of floss. So I said, yeah, I don't think I'm going to. So I did go ahead and kit up the DMCs. So I do have all of the DMC colors for this piece. And there are also a few of the colors that you need several skeins. So I have the extras already. So if I were to buy all of this in the silks, it would have cost, you know, a pretty penny. So I decided to go ahead and do it in the DMCs, because DMC it's pretty. I have nothing against DMC floss. You know, I've done lots and lots of stitching with DMC and love it. So I use my little floss tags that I had made. Just picked up little tags last Christmas on sale, and then I just punched a hole, you know, punched a hole here and a smaller hole up here to put it on the ring, and then I just floss dropped them. And I'm short 2 or 3 colors, so I already had the floss rings ready, floss drops ready, and just have to go get those couple of colors I'm missing. So this will be her colorway. And the reason I wanted to go ahead and kit it up with the flosses is I'm going to be going on a small little retreat in beginning of December to Ocean City, Maryland, which is a few hours from me, but just me and a few ladies are going. And so there is Salty Yarns in Ocean City, and they have lots of fabric. So I wanted to be able to take my piece, know what size I needed and what my colors were, and do a floss toss and pick my fabric for this piece. So, because this one I'm planning on being my New Year, New Start. I have never done a reproduction sampler before, so I'm excited to try one out. So I got that one from Sassy Jackson, and I also picked up, and like I said, it was about half price. These reproduction samplers could cost somewhere around $30, $40, and you can get them for $15, $20. So I picked up two. The other one that I picked up is Elizabeth Weston, and this one says circa 1830. And that is because they call this a vanity sampler. I was reading a little bit about her. So they had to put circa because they surmised that probably later in her life when she became an adult, she didn't want people to be able to know what her age was, more than likely. So she unpicked the rest of the year. It just says 18, and you can't tell if it's, so they had to kind of go in and guess by the style and all of that kind of thing that it was probably done sometime around 1830. But this piece here also has some specialty stitches, and same thing, quite a bit of flosses are needed for this piece. So I have them. I don't have them on the floss drop yet. That's my project to do before I go to Ocean City, as I want to get them all in the floss rings so that I can do a floss toss real easy with this one too, to pick a piece of fabric for her, because I wanted to do a special birthday start this year. And I think I'm going to have this one. My plan is to have this one be my birthday start. And my birthday is in April, and I will be turning 60. So just like Laura from Brenda and the Cereal Starter, Laura, Mozart and Mod and Mozart on Instagram, she's turning 60. Well, so am I. So I wanted to do something special for my 60th birthday. And so I want to try to start a reproduction sampler. So I got that one. And that is all my haul. And I also have from last week's, 2 weeks ago's video, my regular Flosstube, actually this was my Winter Wonderland extravaganza last week. I was giving away this poinsettia house. I had ordered 2 accidentally. So I said in your comments in the last video to say the word house, and I would do a drawing at my next video. So I am going to go ahead and do that. Let's see if I can get this to work on my my phone here. Let's see. Let me get my glasses on. Okay. So I have already put the video, my last week's video, and I put the word house and the random picker. And let's see, let's get how many comments had the word house in it. Is 125. So I'm going to hit start, and we'll see who the winner is. It is Catherine Davis. Catherine Davis, you have won Poinsettia House. I will comment on your comment, and if you could email me, I will put my email in the description box, but my email is thevirginiastitcher@gmail.com. So it is thevastitcher@gmail.com. And her comment said, such an enabler. I thoroughly enjoyed all of your projects. I have a huge list of patterns now. House, of course. Happy Thanksgiving. So Catherine Davis, congratulations. You have won Poinsettia House. Okay. So contact me, email me with your address, and I will get this out to you in the mail as soon as I get that, or as soon as I can get around to getting it out. Let me go ahead and write this down so I have it. Just need the address. Okay. And then I'd already told you that I've been thinking of some of my plans for 2022. Like I said, it'll be my 60th birthday next year in a few months. And so, you know, and I've also been trying to figure out, you know, do I want to kind of slow down my starts so that I can get good progress on whips? I throw around the idea of a no new starts, and I don't know if I could do that. I don't know if I could want to limit myself like that. So we'll, you know, I'll let you know my plans. I do plan on putting up a plan video within the next week or two. We do have Thanksgiving coming up in a couple of days, and then we have like I said, just shortly after that, I want to put up my Christmas decorations that few days after Thanksgiving, and then I leave to go to Ocean City for a few days. So I will try it. I probably won't get another video up until after I get back from my retreat, but if I get a chance to squeeze one in, I could. If not, it'll more than likely be sometime in December. Look for a plan video, and of course my next check-in video with what I've been working on. And I think that's all I have for you guys. I wish you guys a happy Thanksgiving if you're here in the U.S. I wish you health, happiness, all of you for the upcoming holidays that are coming up. I pray that you have just wonderful blessings, each and every one of you. I really do. You all are wonderful. You are wonderful, wonderful people. I am so glad I've started my YouTube, my Flosstube channel, to get to know some of you through comments and just some interactions. And you guys truly are a blessing. And I hope I'm a blessing to you too. And till next time, you guys, happy stitching, and be well and be happy. Bye.